Attention shoppers, we've got to clean up on Aisle H.
What the other wolves think?
A true crime cleanup on Aisle H.
Diabolical.
Starting now.
No, he's telling you that she's bats.
Howdy, wholeheads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
And we are here to jump back in the swamp.
We going to the swamp.
Yep, Swamp Murders episode, y'all. This is what is called We Miss You, Darling. Which, come on, they can do better than that.
They can do better.
All right, I don't have the description, so while I look that up, Kate, why don't you just tell me what you thought of this bad boy? Were you happy to be back in the swamp? What'd you think?
I was happy to be back in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that it's a traditional Floridian swamp.
I knew it. I knew you'd be pumped for that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. But it left me with some questions.
Interesting. Okay. I got to do my best not to spoil things in this one, because what I would like to do is rage from front to back about certain aspects of this case.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to do that, Kate. I'm going to let it unfold and let the Holtheads make their own decisions.
The Holtheads will rage on their own.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So here is the description. When a dependable 16-year-old girl misses her curfew, her family knows something is wrong. This episode recounts the murder of Carol Hutto through the eyes of Detective Tom Knapp. Already horse f***ing bullshit. Boy, I didn't last long, did I, Kay? I'm sorry.
You did not.
It literally has the dingus' name in the description. That's so wrong. It's not even the right guy who solved the case. His name was Brad Hoyes.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, I didn't see that coming. Okay. All right. Boy, that's frustrating. Our story begins Monday, December 13th in 1976. We've done murders this old before, obviously, but I think it's been a while.
It's been a while.
We've been to the 70s.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the last one we did was like 87?
80s something. Now, they say the date in this episode, Gabe.
December 13th, 1976. Jimmy Carter's only just been elected president.
But there's one thing that, thank God, they had in here that I knew that timestamped this baby, and that was the tie-dye shirt.
Oh.
Who's with...
I was thinking the same thing, actually. So this show, if you guys recall, they do reenactments on a pretty low budge.
Yeah.
And
oh, yeah.
You would never know that it was supposed to be 1976 because they're dressed like it's 2011.
Yeah, and like it's the brother in the tie-dye, and it's such a perfect, like, I bet all the shows out there like this that are on a low budge, they thank God every morning that the tie-dye shirt was invented, because it is the most public domain timestamp thing to ever exist, right? Nobody owns it.
But
Nobody owns one.
They never get the fit right.
No.
It's like clearly a very baggy Hanes tagless.
Yeah, and they're always the same. It's almost like the rainbow color is the only one that's public domain.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know about you, I love a tie-dye, but they're usually color themed. It'll be shades of purple or certain, like, the colors of whatever logo I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Right?
This was just store-bought.
There's another thing about the actors that I'll wait till we get to it, but I think it's safe to say they didn't put their heart and soul into this episode, Kate. I don't think.
No, I don't think they did, Kurt. They were phoning it in.
Yeah. And we're still in season 1, so we still got that. Yeah. Swamp Murders. Welcome back. Okay. 1976. Ed and Norma Hutto are at home. They've got 5 kids, one of which is Carol, 16. I thought she was 15, but what do you remember?
I thought she was 17.
She's definitely, her older half-brother Jerry is 17.
Oh, okay.
But Carol wants to go out, and she's like, all right, I'll see you. And they're like, be home by 10 o'clock. That's your curfew. She's like, you got it. So she leaves, passes 10 o'clock, no daughter. It's around 11 when her older half-brother Jerry gets home. And they're like, have you seen your sister? And he's like, no, what are you talking about? It's only 11.
Have you seen your sister?
She's not home?
No, she was supposed to be home at 10.
It's only like 11.
So they all 3 go out looking for Carol, and no dice. And at 2 a.m., she calls the cops. And let's just guess what their response was, Kate. Do you want to tell us?
The response was, we can't investigate a missing person until it's been 24 hours. Which, boy, am I getting tired of this.
I know.
And have we looked into whether or not that's still the case? Because I feel like law enforcement today, they understand that if, like, a young woman goes missing in the middle of the night, it's not necessarily because she chose to run away. They have to know that something is bad.
I think it's a case of squeaky wheel gets the grease. I think if you're annoying enough as a worried mother, they'll look into it sooner. I think that's the only way to combat this, because it's 48 hours mostly now. I think it's gotten worse, to be honest. Like, there's definitely still a window in crimes that we've covered in the past 20 years where it's the same thing. So, but it's super duper frustrating.
And also, okay, like I remember you and I discussing this before, and you said you wanted to know statistics on how many of those kind of calls end up just being a teenage girl that ran away.
Yeah.
And she just said, like, fuck you to her parents and took off. Even if that does end up being the case, they should still be investigated immediately.
Yeah.
Why does it matter if the statistics are pretty high that, well, they always come back? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You should be looking anyway.
The way they talk about it, if they looked into them all, that's all they would do. I feel like I've even heard them say that in a talking head. Like that's all they'd be doing if that was all that they responded to.
Okay, well then you got to have a department that specifically just does that.
Yeah, and that's something else we've suggested, and I can just hear them going, oh, thanks. Do you have the budget for this department? Blah, blah, blah. And I say, guys, well, guess what? You got to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. Because this is one of a few things where it's just like your system of keeping track of the law and who breaks it is not working.
Here's an idea. Get rid of the guy who gives parking tickets and have him do it.
I like that a lot.
What do you mean you can't search for somebody until 24 hours? It's gone by.
So next morning, her friend Lee comes to pick her up. And, I mean, Carol's still not there and the parents are still worried. And we actually talked to Lee. Her friend Lee is on the show. What'd you think about this?
I felt terrible for her because the way she describes it, Carol's mother was very upset with her at first.
Yeah, you're right, because it's like second period, she gets sent to the principal's office, and there's Carol's mom and the principal like grilling her, right?
Like she's supposed to know where Carol went.
You better not be covering for her or you're in deep trouble.
I'm not covering for her.
She has no idea, and she's just as upset. So she joins the search party too, obviously.
Yeah, so they're looking, but wait, hang on, before we get to their search, because I love that part. It also very 70s timestamp of what goes on there. But they make a point of saying that when she comes into the principal's office, Lee also calls Carol's mom.
In the dean's office, Lee is surprised to find her best friend's mom, who she also calls mom.
And I think they only did it because in the next talking head, she says, Mom, I did this.
Totally.
Right?
Because it doesn't impact the story at all whatsoever. It's just so we wouldn't be confused.
Yeah, which is kind of funny.
I'm freaking out at this point, so I said, Mom, I do not know where Carol is. Please tell me what's going on.
Do you do that?
What? Hell no.
Did you call any of your friends' parents Mom?
Hell no.
No.
I always called them by my friend's name and then followed by Mom. Hi, Kurt's mom.
Oh, that's good. So what does Lee do to look for? Because this is the mid-1970s, so what's hot with the teens in the 1970s, Kateline?
I don't know.
Come on, dude. CB radio!
Oh.
CB radio!
So I have a theory with this scene.
Okay.
The actor who
Here we
is
go. Yeah.
doing the CB broadcasting.
Yep.
Breaker, this is Blondie. Wonder Woman, what's your 20?
I think she just watched the Brady Bunch movie and is repeating what the truck driver, played by the original Alice, says on the breaker to find Jan.
That's funny. That's a great pull. Breaker. Breaker
19. Does anyone have eyes on so-and-so? It's like the same cadence. And sure, maybe that's just how you talk on the CB, but it was so specific. I'm like, oh, someone watched the Brady Bunch movie here.
You know I'm going to have to pull that clip. Absolutely.
Yep.
Schultze, this is Christmas Carol.
I got a 20 on a little girl. Blue eyes, blonde hair, answers to the name of Jan.
All right.
This is the next point where I go, production, what's going on here? Because, one, Carol's name was the Wonder Woman. So she's like, Breaker, Wonder Woman. Has anybody seen Wonder Woman? So I love that. But Lee says her name. And do you remember what her CB handle was?
No.
This is Blondie.
Breaker, this is Blondie.
And now we see Lee in a talking head. And she's in her 50s or 60s now. And guess what? She's blonde. What color hair did this actress have? Portraying Lee, Kate. Do you remember it wasn't blonde?
Wow.
What do you think?
Classic.
They go to the steps of it being realistic enough where that's her name, right? Because they talk to Lee, but they're like, we can't, you know what? And what Eva Lives Here hogs all the wigs, as we know. So I guess they didn't have access to wigs to throw on.
We were CBers and, her handle was the Wonder Woman. So the first thing I did was try to get on the CB and see if anybody had heard.
But no response. Now the friends and the neighbors, everybody's looking for her. And the half-brother, Jerry, is looking, and he's looking around a house that's under construction, and he goes in the back there, and it's a swampy area. Mm-hmm. So what's he find back there, Kate?
He finds his sister.
Yeah, like pinned under cinder blocks, it looked like.
Mm-hmm. Trying to hold her down like she'd been drowned.
Yeah, so he runs off to get the cops, and they come out there, and there's the dead body, and it is indeed Carol.
And immediately they're like, well, the brother probably did it. How would he know to go to this random spot in the swamp? And I'm like, guys...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we meet Detective Tom Knapp. Uh-huh. And even the VO is on board with Tom Knapp, too, because they really go in on... The detectives thought it was strange that he would know to look there, of all places.
Detective Knapp thinks it's odd that it would even occur to Jerry to look for Carol in this swampy mess.
So it would have been difficult for anyone to see her.
Yeah, they're like, he's alone. Well, he wasn't. He was with his family and Carol's friend, Blondie. And they were all looking. He just walked like 20 yards in a different direction and found her. And they all knew about this area. It's not like no one had ever seen this spot, and whoever found her must have been the only person who knew about it. No.
Yeah, I mean, it was a few blocks away from their house. It's not like they were 100 miles away. Mm-mm. It was like in the neighborhood. Okay, so they come back and they check out the body, and they can see that this is the second location. It was dragged from somewhere else where the murder took place. She's just got on like a sweater, no pants or anything. And they go to this nearby construction house and they see signs of a fire that had been lit. There's some cardboard on the floor. And what else do they find there? They find some stuff that belonged to Carol, too.
They did. They found some of the stuff she was wearing. And they also noticed that part of it had been clean, like tidied up.
Yes. They found jeans. And now they call it the P word. Around these parts, we call it underwear.
We call it underwear.
Yeah.
When the house was found, her jeans and I believe her panties were found in there.
Now, they did say it looked vacuumed. Now, I didn't know if that was them vacuuming for evidence, because the killer didn't come back with a vacuum, right? So, like, is that what they're implying?
I don't know. It sounded like they thought whoever did this was trying to cover up that it had happened there. So maybe it had been swept.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true, because they don't really find anything. And if you're curious about what the state of DNA was at in the 70s, don't worry, we're going to touch on it. Not quite here, but we touch on it. Okay, boom, they find that stuff. And this is weird. It was called like a mineral solvent. It was like a liquid that was a burning liquid. What was that?
Yeah, was that like antifreeze?
Mineral spirits and solvents were seized as well.
I don't get what that was.
It was mineral something.
So
yeah, like what's it doing there?
So that they decided that explained the burn marks that they'd found on her body.
Yeah, because she had chemical burns on her legs. And there was a burn on her chest. But, like, what's that stuff doing in there?
And what is it for usually? And we've never seen that on the show.
No.
Unless we have, and it's called something totally normal.
It looks like it comes in, like, a paint thinner can. And she is full on rigor mortis. She's been dead at least 12 hours. And they find that her watch has stopped at 10:36. What are you thinking?
Here's a question for you.
Hit me.
Now, we hear this a lot, just not necessarily on the shows that we talk about, but culturally. Oh, the watch stopped at this time.
Yeah.
That's probably her time of death.
Yeah.
Why would the watch stopping have anything to do with a person's time of death? The watch doesn't just stop when it senses that you're dead.
You know what's funny? Fitbit watches today do, and we've seen episodes like that where that's legitimate.
Yes.
Because your heart rate is being monitored.
But like a quartz watch, like a Timex, that doesn't operate on energy from a body. I don't get it.
I think it's because it's not waterproof. So I feel like what we can say is that was when the body went in the water, was 10:36. Right.
But what about when we hear it in other situations where it's got nothing to do with water? And it's like you find a dead body and you see what time the watch stopped.
Yeah.
I'm always like, so the battery could have died like 3 weeks ago at that time.
Yeah, and now the one I'm thinking of, there's a Columbo or something like that. Maybe it's a Murder, She Wrote, where because the watch was broken, they were like, well, what time was it broken? That was probably when she died. I'm like, that's not going to hold up in court, my dudes.
Mm-mm.
Like, I mean, it's good thinking, but there's no way you know that, whether or not that's true.
Like broken during the struggle of her murder?
Yeah, it's like, maybe, but I don't know. Anyway, but they're thinking, okay, 10:36, she at least was in the water by then. So they get the scoop on Carol, and we get her background. She's a tomboy. Do you remember what she was into? I like this.
She was into wrestling.
She was into wrestling and NASCAR.
Your kind of lady.
Hell yeah. Now, they didn't say, I was thinking 76, December 76, Cale Yarborough had just won. He was huge. So she was either a Richard Petty fan or a Cale Yarborough. Dale Earnhardt was only part-time driver at this time, so probably not him. But now, they didn't say that she was an Andre the Giant fan, but they took that step in the reenactment, though, right? Because they have a convo that they show between Carol and her brother. It's like, oh, Andre the Giant would whoop him. And Jerry's like, no, he's too slow. Right?
Totally. I know next to nothing about wrestling.
Yeah. I was into it as a child with like Ultimate Warrior and stuff and grew out of it. But this is one of those things that a lot of adults stay into. I feel like we know people that are into wrestling.
We do. I know plenty of adults who buy tickets to WrestleMania.
Yeah. And
it's probably
But yeah,
fun.
I know Andre. Yeah. And I know Andre the Giant because he was a crossover. I mean, he's in movies, y'all.
Yeah.
He's in Conan and stuff. So wait, another funny thing about that scene, I guess this is a B-roll you busted, is the brother Jerry was not mic'd. You could hear Carol just fine. And then Jerry, it's like they used her mic of him talking.
Oh, no.
Just a little fun.
No boom, just lavs.
Something. One lav. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if Jerry wasn't supposed to have lines, but he improv. They're like, you know what is so good? Let's leave it in. Right?
I think you're right.
Dude, Andre the Giant would totally rock his world.
No way, he's too slow.
So cops, well, gosh darn it, they want to know more about Jerry, their number one suspect. And this was interesting. Jerry's not in trouble with the law. He's friends with people who had trouble with the law, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they painted him as a bad seed simply because of who he hung out with. Am I wrong?
And that is not accurate because I, growing up, was a sweet baby angel who never got into trouble. And I was hanging around some not so great people.
Police believe Jerry knows more than he's letting on. But without any evidence, they can't file charges.
They talked to her friend Denise, which is not Blondie on the CB, What's Your 20. This is her other friend Denise that she went to hang out with that night. And Denise is like, yeah, Carol was here, but she left at some point. And she said, if my parents call, just tell her I'm at the store. So they go to the store and they talk to the guy who's behind the counter. Kind of remembers her, couldn't tell you where she was going, but the cops like retrace her route from the store to her house. Mm-hmm. They're talking to more friends, and they talk to a fellow student and a neighbor of Carol's named Jimmy Kinn.
He says, yeah, I kind of knew her. We went to school together, but we weren't close. Like, I knew of her, and I didn't see her that night.
Yeah, and at one point, he says, oh, I don't want to talk anymore unless I talk to my parents first.
Mm-hmm.
And look, his parents did the right thing.
They lawyered up.
Because they told him, they lawyered up, and they couldn't, I mean, and this was a brick wall, apparently. Like, it was...
His parents hired an attorney almost immediately, and they chose not to make a statement at all.
Yeah, so my question about this is, we learned from the cops here that because he lawyered up, that was it. They weren't even going to pursue him further. Now, in what world is that what happens?
I don't know, man. And they really make a point of saying there was nothing else we could do. We couldn't talk to him. And it's like, they really just said like, all right, well.
Well, I guess he's not involved.
Yeah. But they're talking to him, and this is suspicious. They're going, oh, well, this guy wants a lawyer. And then they go, then the break came that they were looking for. Yeah. And this was hilarious. They get a call from a woman named Sharon Moreland. Okay. She lives by the Huttos. And what does she have to say?
She says she knows who murdered her.
It was my stepson that did it, Danny.
It's shocking, to say the least.
They're like, great, can we talk to Danny? And she's like, well, he's out of town, but he'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah. And so they stake out his house. Like, they stake out the house for days on end. Nothing happens.
He doesn't come home.
They get a call from Sharon, and she goes, oh, you know what? He got sidetracked. He's at a bar right now, but he's on his way home.
Mm-hmm.
Something's not right, and the detectives know it.
And this is when the cops are like, what? And so they try and say, you know, Sharon, F off. Like, you're clearly messing with us. I mean, what's her follow-up? Do you ever follow up?
She's like, well, I actually did it.
Yeah, she's like, well, it wasn't just Danny, it was me.
And they just hang up on her.
Yeah, because then they look into it, and it turns out she's notorious for doing this.
Uh-huh.
In 1970, she had been arrested in Tampa because she claims she killed her husband, James Moreland Sr. He was alive and well.
And then the reenactment, the cops are like, great,
Yeah.
all that time wasted.
I can't believe we've wasted hundreds of hours on this crazy woman.
Right.
You know, we're watching this. We don't know who the killer is yet. And the B-roll acting choices that the Sharon was playing on the show, I was like, I'm not believing this. Like the close-up on her face, the way she was on the phone, like, and it was my son, Danny. Like, I just kind of knew this is a rascal. Somebody's up to something right now.
Truth is, Danny didn't kill that girl by himself. I was there. I helped him.
This isn't a list item, but it's almost where this is where the voiceover, who's doing some real, like, swampy VO, he says, and that says Sharon was more slippery than a water moccasin.
Oh, boy.
Nice.
What started as a promising lead is looking more slippery than a water moccasin.
That belongs on SWAT Murders. Yeah, so Sharon thinks we're wasting her time. The autopsy comes back. She was struck with a blunt object, and they had found a 2x4 with blood on it. But that's not how she died.
She was alive when she went in the water.
Yeah.
And her cause of death was drowning.
Friggin' drowning. And they also confirmed that no sexual assault. So that's not good news for Jerry, the brother.
No.
Because then they say, well, it looks like the person that we want to convict right now is guilty. Let's go talk to Jerry again.
And they do.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Knapp is determined to get the investigation back on track for Carol's sake. And to him, that means going back to the person who found the body, Carol's half-brother, Jerry.
His problem was he had been with his girlfriend, and they kept saying he had a shaky alibi. And it's like, well, he went to his girlfriend's, and when he came home, he passed this house because it was down the street.
It's on the way.
It was in the neighborhood, dudes.
Yeah.
But this is a big problem for them, and they keep saying that his alibi is shaky. And I'm going to be like, I don't know, talk to his girlfriend. Like,
yeah, what time did he leave his girlfriend's house and he arrived home at 11? Like,
yeah.
Is there time to stop at this cabin, to go find your sister, bring her to this cabin, kill her, and then drown her? No.
Yeah.
The answer's no.
That's a great example of what cops now or in the last 30 years might have done. Because we've seen it where they go, and we tested it too.
We drove
like
it.
When they buy, yeah, we drove from Wendy's to home, and you could do it in 15.
We bought the exact car that he had.
Yeah.
And we drove it the exact route.
But as you're going to learn, these cops don't like to go the extra mile. So they didn't test it at all. They said, you're lying.
I think we can say that these cops were not working after 7 p.m.
Hell no. Absolutely not. And I think Detective Tom Knapp was out of there by 5 p. Okay? I can't even imagine him in the office until 7, dude. He's interviewed on this show. Boy, he seemed happy and pumped to be on TV, didn't he?
What a dick.
He's proud of his work.
Detective Knapp doesn't think he's barking up the wrong tree.
So 4 months later, they get a tip. This is weird. I did some extra digging on this. According to the internet, this happened years later, but I think the show said 4 months later, they get a tip from a guy in prison who says, hey, I was at a party and Jerry was like bragging about his sister and how he murdered her. And this was a guy in prison who had just been arrested for like robbery and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this sounds like shaky to me. Like maybe he's doing this for a better deal.
Yeah.
But the cops, they go talk to him and they get the scoop. And then they talk to Jerry again.
Again. The third time.
He was in jail for burglary, and he had supposedly been at a party with Jerry.
Yeah. And by this point, so at this point, this baby goes cold for 18 years. And you can bet, they even say it, for all of those 18 years, everybody assumed it was Jerry. Like if you asked anybody in the department around town, it's like, oh, Carol? Yeah, it was her brother. The brother did it.
No motive. Just
nope.
The brother did it.
No, so he's got that hanging over him for years. Then, this is cool. So 18 years later, it's March of 94. Detective Brad Hoyes, I found out he was a member of the SWAT team. I don't think they said that on the show. But he gets injured, so he has a desk job, and he's like pissed, and he's like, my career's over. And his boss says, hey, you know what? Why don't you take a look at this? And what is it but the Carol case? It's their oldest cold case.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's not a detective. He's just a SWAT guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, hey, take a look at this. Now, in the B-roll, it's one box. I would believe it absolutely. It was only one box in real life, too.
For sure.
He starts going through it. And this is crazy because 2 days after he's given this, they get a call.
Out of the blue.
From a woman in Germany. Okay? And what does she have to say?
She says that she knows who killed Carol.
Mm-hmm.
It's this guy that had just been arrested. She saw it on the news.
Frank Potts.
He was some kind of serial killer, and she thinks that he killed Carol because like 2 days before, this guy tried to kidnap this woman from Germany, but she got away. So she's like, he was in the neighborhood.
Yeah, so, I mean, this sounds pretty intriguing to me. Now, the reason why you're like Germany, she married a serviceman, they said. They didn't say what branch or anything, but she was over there with a serviceman and was like, look, it had to be this guy because he tried to get me, 3 days before she was murdered. And so they look into it and they go down to Polk County where he's arrested, and it just doesn't match his MO.
It seemed like this just wasn't Frank's type of crime. The method of the murder, the death wasn't his MO. It just didn't seem like Frank Potts.
Which is weird. If they had just said he wasn't in the area or something, what was his MO though? That just another extra tidbit they could have given us. What do you think?
He liked to murder young women, just not in that fashion.
Yeah,
But like, what's to say he just felt like switching it up one night?
Yeah, and the B-roll of her getting almost kidnapped was at like a truck stop. So it's like, okay, so he was a truck driver? Is that what you're trying to say? Like he wouldn't be at a house? I don't know.
It's confusing.
Yeah. We see a pic of Frank Potts, though. This show, which I've had problems with in the past because their pictures, quote, pictures of the crime scene are pictures of their reposing of it. And I think it's shady of them to throw those in a Polaroid board or as if it's the real crime scene because we're not buying. No. But they had some good real pics this time of a few things. Now, on the way home from Polk County, Detective Brad Hoyes, who now detective, former SWAT team member Brad Hoyes says to his buddy, hey, you know what? I was going through the evidence, with fresh eyes, and I found Carol's diary.
Wouldn't you know, there's some evidence here that's been here all along and was overlooked by the first team.
Yes. And so what did the diary say, Kateline?
That she was having a secret hookup relationship with that neighbor, Jimmy, and that they used to go meet at that house and the swamp where she was found.
Yes.
I said, hey, Mike, what if I told you in Carol's journal there's an entry about her and Jimmy always going to the lake?
As in Jimmy Kin, the boy whose parents lawyered up all those years ago.
It was so fresh because even the show presents this like they have the guy Hoyes on. He's like, hey, fresh eyes. I wasn't from this town. I didn't know this case, and that's why I caught it.
And that's why I was able to solve it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, and they're like, and he found something that was overlooked, and I just want to go like, this is so unacceptable to me, Kate. This is 1,000% a Deputy Dingus who I haven't been this pissed at the cops in a while. This other guy, Knapp, had no problem re-interviewing Jerry 4 or 5 years later, okay? He had no problem going back to him. He couldn't be bothered to read the diary they found. You what?
Yeah.
It's not like this guy did not know about the diary.
He collected it.
It was in the evidence. And like, why have that? And if it's all tunnel vision, and they talk about tunnel vision in the show, it's like, I want to say it's laziness, but I want to go like, dude, you didn't even have to drive over to their house to talk to Jerry. This thing was in a box on your desk. Like, you could have done this with your pants undone, with your feet up. Like, it was right there. Like, the fact that a person had a diary is such a treasure trove.
She solved her own murder.
Yeah! Oh, I couldn't grasp this, and the more they talked about it like it was some sort of big find, the more upset I got. Because this is another thing we've run into way too many times, right?
It is, yeah.
It's like, oh, it was in the box. And it wasn't some secret hidden note. It was her frigging diary.
Yeah, and we learned that this was an ongoing thing. He didn't want their hooking up to be known to anyone because he was really popular and a stud, and she was kind of like a loner. I think they were trying to say she was like a big girl.
Well, they said the tomboy thing and stuff. So I think they're definitely painting a picture like Jimmy would be embarrassed to be with her.
Yeah.
Because he was like, it says in the diary, Jimmy doesn't count because I'm not allowed to talk about it. And we only whenever we meet, we only go to this lake.
Right. And her friend thought she was going to the store. She couldn't even tell her friend.
Yeah. And this was funny. The guy's captain of the swim team. Okay, cool. But when they're talking about what a popular guy was, they also said that he was really good at the trumpet. That made me giggle.
Her neighbor, Jimmy, was a popular kid, an athlete, and a talented trumpet player.
Nobody's popular for being good at the trumpet. I got nothing against you band folk. I'm looking at you, Kateline, and your French horn, okay?
And I played the trumpet.
Oh, and the trumpet. But come on. You were super cool, no doubt, but not because you were good at the trumpet. right?
No, but there were cool dudes that played trumpet for sure.
Okay, okay, all right, I stand corrected. I just can't imagine high schoolers going, look at that guy blow. I don't see that happening in high school with a trumpet, even if you're the greatest trumpet player in the world.
Okay, then what is the chick magnet instrument in the symphonic band?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's a guitar. It doesn't matter where you are.
But that's not in the band.
Well, then that's what I'm saying. They don't give... There's none of the girls were clamoring for people in the symphonic band. That's crazy. Is a piano in there? I don't know.
Can be.
Okay. Look, I'm not coming after band peeps. I'm just saying...
I don't know. Kind of sounds like
What's
you're
up?
coming after band peeps. Listen, our homecoming king
What?
was a drummer in the band.
Okay. All right. Who's a famous trumpet player?
It's what's
Louis
his name?
Armstrong?
Louis Armstrong and what's that guy's name? British guy.
Mr. Bean?
Yeah, it's Mr. Bean.
They talked to Jimmy Kin. Where is he today? He's in Connecticut.
He's living his life.
Yeah, he works on a nuclear submarine for the Navy in Connecticut. We didn't hear any recordings or anything, but the B-roll, he said multiple times, oh, that was a long time ago. I don't really remember what went on there. So he kind of clams up.
Well, that was a long time ago.
They tell him, okay, that's interesting because your name's in her diary. So this is when he changes his story a little bit.
All of a sudden he's like, well, I did know her. I said I didn't, but I did.
And they get him to admit that he was at the crime scene, like where the murder took place in that house. They had been there. Mm-hmm. So this puts him in there that time and day. And they go, all right, well, hey, you want to take a polygraph? Oh, pause real quick. Rewind. Talking about polygraphs, they asked poor Jerry to take a polygraph. We know how much cops love and how much weight they put into a polygraph. Jerry, their number one suspect, took a polygraph. And what were his results?
Well, Kurt, he passed with flying colors.
I mean, that is one. Coming up on a list.
Kick ass.
Two, that's like a cop's dream to hear that. Mm-hmm. This is why they give the polys to people.
And they're like, nah, he's still got something to do with this.
And that prick nap, the way that he doesn't say he passed or like he said like every question he answered, he was found not to be deceptive. Okay, so he passed, dude. He passed it. He passed the test that you're so insistent upon.
There were no indications of deception in the series of questions that were asked.
So anyway, fast forward back to Jimmy Kin. They're like, Jimmy Kin, will you take a poly? He says, sure thing, let's do it tomorrow. Oh, but next day, they get a call from Jimmy Kin's lawyer, who tells him he's not going to be taking it.
Were you expecting them to be like, so that's it. We had to walk away.
Yeah. So then we went to talk to Jerry again. Oh, I wouldn't put it past Detective Knapp, I'll tell you that. Now, here's a question I got for you, though, because 94 is when all this starts happening again, where the guy takes the cold case. This kind of makes it go cold again for a little bit because they don't have anything on him. And they can't get a poly. He's like lawyered up again. So it is kind of the same result. Now, I've seen it before where, the military, they have their own police. They got their own rules for when it comes to punishment and what they can make you do. So why didn't his commanding officer say, take that fucking polygraph test, dude? Like, why didn't they force him to do it? Why'd they let him stonewall?
Well, maybe because the crime wasn't committed on military property and the victim wasn't military either. So it's just a civilian issue. I don't know. Watching a lot of NCIS, I feel like it's always got to be like the victim is military.
Or they won't get involved. Cool. I felt like this was a point where it wouldn't be against the law. It'd be very easy for the MP, the military police, to go like, no, dude, just take the test and get this over with. But they didn't.
I don't know.
Okay. So he goes back to the evidence, and this was another confusing part because one thing we didn't mention that they found at the crime scene was a thing called tin snips. They look like giant scissors, kind of, right? I never heard them called tin snips before.
No, me neither.
They point out that a burn on her chest was in the shape of a tin snip. And the detective was saying, so this tells me that either it was a test of, like a test of death, he called it, where like, was he doing this to make sure she was dead? Or was it torture? Or was he just like a sick SOB in there for the torture? And I swear, they show a picture of Jimmy Kin holding a pair of tin snips. They show a picture of him. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
And it was from the 90s or something. So what's the connection? Because the tin snips were left at the crime scene. So are they implying that this guy loved tin snips? Like, it's not like he was holding the murder weapon in his hand.
Weird.
Yeah, hang on. Keep saying stuff if you want. I'm going to send you that pic real quick.
The pic of him holding the tin snips?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because maybe you can weigh in on what year it was taken or something.
Because I'm into forensic photography.
Yeah, found it. Oh, wait a second. You know what? Tell me if you think this is the detective looking at the tin snips from the evidence. That might be what this is.
Okay.
And sent.
Oh, I do remember this picture. But yeah, I guess that is the detective. It did look a lot like Jimmy.
Yeah. Here's the detective I'm saying it is. Do you think this could be him? I guess when I think about him side by side.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay. So that's just a weird photo where he's like, here's my evidence in front of my Jimmy John's order or whatever he's grubbing on.
Here I am, right? Holding the evidence without gloves.
Yeah. In my lazy boy that I got at my desk. Okay. All right. Well, then, you know what? I stand corrected. I'm glad I looked it up. Yeah, so that was like, that had nothing to do with anything because then it's 98 and what? They just try him again. And this time they use naval investigators too in the interrogation. And we see a bunch of cliche things happen here where the thing that works is they just keep saying, you didn't mean to do it.
It just happened.
You didn't mean to do it, right?
It just happened.
And you feel real bad about it, right?
Just come clean.
Yeah. And so what's good old Jimmy Kin do, Kate? What does he fess up whole hog, or what? Does he have like some story that exonerates somebody? He's not really a bad guy. Which one is it?
Oh, he's not a bad guy, Kurt.
No, it was an accident. We were playing around.
We were horsing around, kind of doing some wrestling, and then she fell and hit her head.
Yeah, I mean, she does love wrestling, Kate.
And then she wouldn't wake up. So I dragged her to the lake and drowned her.
Yeah, and pinned her body. I dragged her to the lake half naked, by the way. And he also says, he did say this, that he tried to make it look like a murder, so he strangled her so she'd have ligature marks. I mean, it's all nonsense.
It's nonsense.
So now they get to take him to trial and stuff. And in February of 2002, he's found guilty and sent to prison for life. Now, this accident thing, this is another thing that takes Kurt Money's gears and grinds the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to present more legislation for Judge Money's courtroom that you're not allowed to say it was an accident. That's just off the table.
Because
you're not
if it had been an accident, you would have called the police.
Yes. There are enough weird laws out there like double jeopardy or whatever, or like where it's like, oh, the lawyer mentioned something that wasn't admissible. This whole court has to get thrown out. In Judge Money's courtroom, you're not allowed to say it was an accident. You're just not. What do you think?
I don't agree.
You want... defend yourself, Judge Kateline. Defend yourself.
What do
you mean?
What if it was an accident and you're being tried for murder?
It's never an accident when we've heard it. Have we ever heard someone say it's an accident and it was an accident? No. Okay, here's something to maybe sway you a little bit more. The crime happened at least 10 years ago, and you get caught for it finally. When we see it, it's from a cold case where it's like, okay, I was there. Okay, you know what? We were horsing around. We were playing tag.
If it's that exact scenario, if it's 10 years later and they never called the police initially and all of a sudden it's like an accident, yeah, you're not allowed to do that. But it's the night of the murder, the night of the accident, and you call the police and they're like, I don't know, this doesn't look like an accident.
Well, wait, if the person being accused called the police, they're absolutely allowed to say it because that's what someone would do if it's an accident. Every person I'm talking about is caught for it.
Okay.
They say, oh, I was going to tell you guys, but I do think that I did it. Those are the guys I'm talking about.
Okay.
I think you can draw a hard line there. Unless they're the ones that call the cops, you're not allowed to say it was an accident.
In Kurt Money's court, you're not allowed to say it was an accident.
Judge Money. I did not go to law school for you to call me just Kurt Money, okay? It is Judge Money.
Okay. So another question I have about this case.
Yep. Uh-huh.
When Jimmy takes them through what happened, and he starts to explain more about what went on.
Mm-hmm.
He never actually mentions where the burning happened or why.
No. I mean, he to this day says it was an accident. But we still have a million questions. The chemical burns, the burn on her chest. The
chemical burns, the solvent that was used to burn her.
Yeah.
What would that doesn't fit with his story. And it also doesn't fit with the theory that the cops laid out about how he wanted to have sex and she didn't want to. And I totally buy that because he didn't respect her. He wanted this to be a secret. So he was like, we should be having sex. And she didn't want to, and he killed her. Where do the burns come into play, and why?
Yeah, like...
That is torture. But then not to sexually assault her.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it makes me think, if it is true that he killed her, not accidentally, he kills her because she said no, and he's pissed. And then he decides to torture her just for shits and gigs. I'm surprised he didn't go and do this again.
Right.
Because this was so easy for him to get away with. He just said,
But
lawyer.
he was-
My mom said, lawyer, I can't talk to you anymore.
But he was just living a normal life.
Yeah.
He didn't have a record.
No, and he's also on a nuclear submarine. I mean, I don't know what kind of permissions he had down there. I don't like the idea of him working on nuclear submarines, I suppose.
I know some people that did.
That could be serial killers?
No, but they're not geniuses. Let me just say that.
Okay. That's because to me, that does sound like somebody you have to be a smarty.
Mhm.
And you know what? We forgot to mention, after he stonewalls him again in 94, they got an FBI profiler in the house.
Yeah.
To state the obvious. And that's what let him take it to court, I guess.
Good grief.
It's like, well, he's a loner. He's a white guy. Okay. He's athletic. And if he played sports, it was a solo sport. Again, it's always that.
Uh-huh.
I would love for one profiler to go like, he's a people person. Okay. He loves people.
He's the life of the party.
Yeah. It's
Really
never that.
good trumpet player.
See, now that I would have said, profiler, you just earned your money. Because guess what? This guy was an excellent trumpet player. Oh my God. And then this is where my frustration grows even more, because we got to look as Dingus Knapp. He's a deputy Dingus Supreme. I hate his friggin' guts, and I hope he hears this. And I genuinely wanted to like look him up and stuff and write him a letter, Kate. That's how mad I was earlier.
Okay.
I was like about to Google him. Now, Detective Hoyes, he went to Jerry to apologize on behalf of the department. Did he not?
What
He
a
did.
good guy.
And I thought he was going to start crying.
And I want to, if I were him and I saw Detective Knapp at this shoot, Detective Knapp, he was available to talk about this crime for swamp murders. Why couldn't he go along with Hoyes to apologize? What do you think?
It's a great question.
And I'll bet it's because he doesn't think there's anything to apologize for. Because I bet in his dumb little mind, he's going, I was just doing my job.
Just doing my job. Just following the clues that we had.
Man, oh man, did this guy steamed me. Because he was so like, you hear him on the show, and it's like a victory for him. And I just want to go like, dude, I think you should be in prison, honestly. What do you think? Is that too far?
I think it's about time for our lists.
Okay, hit me, Kate. Hit me.
Kate's unnamed list.
What do you got?
Well, you know it's Florida.
Hell yeah. And there's some Florida going on here too, huh? Like old Sharon Moreland and her calls about how her and her stepson.
This is hella Floridian.
Yep.
And we have 2 military connections.
Boom. Let's hear them.
Well, the murderer, Jimmy,
Uh-huh.
working for the Navy.
Yep.
And also that woman calling from Germany.
Bingo. Married a serviceman? Absolutely. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
On to
Kurt's
Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
A good Kurt's Kick-Ass List episode.
Mhm.
Okay. There were some good ones, some specific ones. One, Wonder Woman. That had just premiered that year or the year before on TV. So that's a movie or TV show reference. Her CB name.
Okay.
Kurt's Kick-Ass List. Welcome. Number 2. In 1978, DNA testing only happens in science fiction novels.
Ooh-wee. Welcome to the list.
That's a list item. Faux show. Absolutely. And then, of course, passing the poly with flying colors.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry passes the polygraph with flying colors. But for detectives, doubts linger.
Now, when they said that he had because first they have the dipshit dingus say that his thing about every question he was not blah 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 blah, and then when they had another guy talk about it, I said something tells me we're going to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me,
Yep.
And we absolutely did. Flying colors, the only way to talk about it.
It's the
Only way.
Fail miserably or pass with flying colors.
Yep, it's one or the other. So those are 3 things that were pretty dope for my list. I got a few extra info because I wanted to look up, this guy goes to jail in 2002. It's 25 to life, but he can get parole after 25. So that's 2 years from now, if it hasn't already happened, I thought, right? Like, because, it's always like good behavior or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find anything on him, and this is an appeal to the whole heads. Has anyone ever had luck searching for inmate info about people in these cases? Because I went to the Florida Department of Corrections website. I have his full name and his inmate number, and it says nothing can be found. Like, redo your search. It's like, what else do you need from me? I want to know how people find info on inmates, basically, because I've never been able to do it.
It's a good question. Plenty of people write letters to inmates. How do they know where to contact?
And actually, one of the here, I'm going to send it to you real quick. This was on Inmate Aid. Here is an info where you can like send them. These are the kind of sites people go to if like you want to like send them something or get in touch with them. Just send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, like I have all that info. And I also found this interesting. It's a website called the Prison Journalism Project, and it's articles written by prisoners. Now this is weird. Like I sound like I'm super anti-prisoners and I hate them. I mean, a lot of times I do because they're killers and we're talking about them. But I support things like this for prisoners. But it was interesting. I found an article about what is considered contraband or not. And they talked to inmate James Kinn. And this was in 2024. So at least up until a year ago, he was still in prison. Because he said, if you had asked me 6 years ago what I wouldn't want to be taken away, it'd be my calculator and ruler because of my classes I'm taking. So this fool thinks he's going to get out and like go to like get a real job and stuff, this guy.
Going to be an engineer again?
Yeah. What do you think? So that was frustrating. Hoyes. This is his only murder case. He worked in this for 6 months and then he retired. He was like,
baller.
Listen,
one and done.
Yeah, it's not going to get better than this, y'all. All right. So that does it for another trip to the swamp. A frustrating case. I think a decent episode, right? I mean, you're not writing home to Jillionaire about it, but
no.
What do you think?
But I had a good time.
So yeah, until next week, I'm Kurt Bunny.
I'm Kateline.
Okay, wait. I hate that I got to rewind. And on that note, that's what I say, Kate. And on that note, I'm Kurt Bunny.
I'm Kateline.
Smooth as butter right there. Cut. We did it. Swamp murder. Welcome back.